Authenticity may be the scarcity of our era, of our next generations and next years. And why I say that? Well, it's I think it's commonly accepted that artificial intelligence has recently passed clearly and definitely um, has passed the Turing test. It says that we are not able to tell the difference between uh, an artificial intelligence or a bot or a large language model talking to us and uh, relative to a human being. That is definitely new. For some time we had like things like uh, spam and bots and things that well could pretend to be a human being, but or an actual person behind that. But well, after a few investigations, trying uh, uh, to unmask the actual identity, it was pretty obvious and straightforward and easily to realize that it has so much behind that and say okay, we're talking to a simple bot, but but, but that's not the case anymore. So um, it's very difficult now to think about, especially when now so big share of our life, of our connections, happens in the virtual world, in the digital world. Um, because okay, if we are talking to a person, it's a person. We have no artificial intelligence embodied into robots, but we we live pretty a big share of our life. It happens online, happens in the digital world. Um, so going out there and saying, okay, I don't know if this influencer is real or is synthetic, or talking to profiles in Twitter and well, couldn't figure out if we are talking to a real person behind that. Um, that that is definitely new, and I think it will pose a big challenge to to the way we think about ourselves and what defines us as human beings and um, what makes us different. Because we can think about sometimes my my mental model for this is that we are body, we are human beings. We are made of body, mind, and maybe even a soul, which could be discussed. And we can have doubts about this, and okay, it's not fully demonstrated. I think it's pretty obvious that we have body and mind, but it's not so obvious if we have a soul, a real soul. We can think that it's maybe an illusion or a virtual environment running on top of our minds. So it's an open question, I'd say. Um, so we could replicate machines from which makes the same task that we do for some time now, like not fully human robots, but we could replicate physical tasks, and we could replicate uh, the the part of us which is the material one, the body. But that do not pose a threat to our identity because we are pretty sure that we are not our bodies. We are not so sure probably about the, the affirmation that we are not our minds or the negation that we are not our mind. Um, and now we have something which it, it, it actually is a synthetic mind. It processes thoughts, discusses, it gets a level of insight which is uh, at the level of a human being in many aspects, and that is more difficult to digest because, okay, is this uh, is artificial intelligence doing something that I thought I or we, the human species, were the only ones who could do that? That poses a threat to our definition of a human being, about our identity and about what makes us remarkable in this universe. Um, yeah. So what we do look for when we when we talk to another human being, or when we talk to someone else? Are we looking for um, an accumulation of experiences? Are we searching for getting insights about the memories of the other, about their insights, about the ideas and the interpretations about the world around someone else? Because we are looking for that. We are looking for that type of content. Now we can have it unlimited from artificial intelligence. If we are looking for entertainment, we can have it orders of magnitude more intense entertainment that we can have probably with the mind of another human being. Sometimes if we think in the bandwidth of of our minds, of our brains, it's very limited. Uh, so something which can read, can write novels, history, and stories, and the amount of output that artificial intelligence can generate today in 2014, it's outstanding, and it's difficult to rival for us humans, and to challenge that and to compete with that because it's so much, it's so bigger than the amount of content that we humans can generate, the amount of thought process that we can deal with, and and probably it will keep on increasing and getting surprisingly higher in the few years ahead. Sometimes I think about even when a book is maybe a short story, artificial intelligence, frontier models, 2014, 2024. For short stories, we cannot we cannot win to an artificial intelligence. At some point, probably um, those intelligence will beat us uh, writing novels. Um, and it happens with video generation. When what with what happens we rather see when we rather watch movies, um, synthetic movies from no human director, movies generated by artificial intelligence. I'm seeing some 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 pretty nasty videos generated with artificial intelligence, and uh, it's okay. They're short ones. The amount of the length and the amount of content that we can pack into them today, it's limited, maybe a few minutes. But I'm sure that in a few years' time, we will be generating outstanding movies. Um, and I'm sure many people will rather watch the synthetic ones. So, are we looking for content, or are we looking for someone else? Like uh, when we get the industrial revolution, uh, the the work of the artisan got so much valuable in comparison to the industrial output because it's limited in amount, in quantity. It's something that it's not generated, but it's not fabricated by a machine. It's not fabricated. Uh, uh, it's not serially fabricated. It has some unique. It's like when we have bottles of wine in limited editions. The wine does not taste better, but it's limited one. It's you get in your hands, in your mouth, something unique, something which takes it gets to the degree of to the level of luxury. Um, maybe maybe soon talking to a human being, I mean online, virtual world, will be somehow like a luxury, something that provides you this level of status because you are able to engage with a real person instead of with the synthetic content. Um, I can think about this authenticity from the angle of Bitcoin. Um, Bitcoin addresses something that this massive replication that we have online, for instance, for spam. Um, you can generate maybe unlimited accounts for email, and you can from them write, write to someone from several accounts from an unlimited number of accounts. You can spam everyone uh, from many angles because it's not limited. You can set up an account. It happens the same with similar with social network profiles. You can create fake ones, and you can create an unlimited amount of profiles at some point. But there are some validations, some requirements, but it's pretty easy to create like a farming, uh, like a bot farm and things like that. Because uh, digital world, this digital world is not bounded by the limits of physics. But Bitcoin addresses that somehow. In order to participate in the validation of the distributed ledger and checking that no one is spending twice the same coin. In order to be part of that and getting rewarded by in terms of Bitcoin as a miner, you cannot create an unlimited amount of accounts and participate uh, in this lottery for the miners um, with an unlimited number of accounts because the network requires you to perform an amount of arbitrary work just to not to piss you off, but to demonstrate, to make sure that there's someone behind, and you cannot create a unlimited number of accounts of participants of wallets or miners out of the blue. You need to back up with something, um, and it addresses this unlimited amount of things that we can create online. It will happen probably something similar with the frontier models or with artificial intelligence because there's some compute to back up an artificial intelligence. But well, this will get mm, greater and greater levels of efficiency. So at the end, very soon, we will be outnumbered by artificial intelligence, and by things that look like us, uh, and will be massively outnumbered, 10 to 10 to 1 or 100 to 1, unlimited amount of profiles and things looking like people, not being people. And at that point, we will need to think about are, is this what we're looking for, or is something else? And authenticity will it will become um, something that we think deeply and more often. I think sometimes about Matrix and this character, Cypher. It's, he just preferred the fake one, the fake thing. He told the agent Smith, uh, uh, just plug me back into Matrix and let me make me forget everything. Let me taste the taste the bistec, taste the meat. It, it's virtual, but it feels real. So I don't mind. I don't mind being cheated. I don't mind living the lie. It's reasonable, but it sounds bad. It feels bad. It feels wrong. We say that this guy is the bad in the movie, and there's something in us rejecting that. We don't want to be cheated. Even if the lie is better, we reject that. We look for some authenticity. We look for truth. And when when we talk to people, we want to feel that something behind them, behind their words, behind their eyes. We want to feel the connection. We don't want to feel that there is any purpose on, on the way they interact with us. If there is a purpose, if there is a finality, we assume that we are a byproduct of their objectives. We are a secondary objective for them, and we do not want that. We want to be the primary objective of someone we relate with, and we want that be mutual in both directions for the connection uh, to be valuable, to be worthy. We don't want we do not want to be the secondary objectives. We do not want to see uh, a further objective outside our relationship. It happens the same with art. Art, uh, it's we like art when it is for the sake of it. If we see a nice picture, but we know that the painter did it because he wanted to earn money, it evaluates it. We want it to be authentic, and without any purpose beyond itself. And I think we want the same for our connections. We want them to be, at the end of the day, ultimately, we want them to be purposeless. Um, and maybe the only purpose that I can see in the connections that that we look for in, with some other with some other minds, with some other human beings, is getting deeper, or getting closer to the answer to a very uncomfortable question that I'd say it runs in the background of most of our minds, of most of our consciousness, which um, is there something in the minds? Is there something behind the eyes, behind the face and the words of someone else, which transcends uh, what he does, what he thinks, and what he feels, just the same as I'm almost sure that happens behind myself, in my mind, something which is beyond my thoughts, beyond my motivations, beyond my material existence. Is there something transcending in other human beings just the same way it is in me? And I think this is a question that we try to answer to all of our connections, all of our interactions with people around them. And we are not even sure that we can get to the bottom of this question. And even in spite of that, on that, even on in spite of that, we keep on looking for the bottom of this.